right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast, and this is episode 232. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I have to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. Go visit us on Twitter at PS This Is Awesome. And if you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PSN, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. And as always, you can write our show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share our show with your friends and make sure you leave comments and rate the podcast as you see fit. And finally, we are a video podcast as well, so you can watch our show on our YouTube channel. For new and or long-time listeners, we now have a Patreon. You can support our show for $1 a month, called the One and Only $1 Club. Head over to www.patreon.com/PSThisIsAwesome to become a $1 patron, and we will mail you a free die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail and give you a shout-out on our show. With that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. It's early for us to be recording generally, but I don't know, doing fine.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing all right. It's been a long week, but I feel like the busy weeks go by fast. So long meaning that a lot of shit was going on. So Friday I had a gig, Saturday you and I had a gig, and then this morning we're doing the podcast. And then when we're done with the podcast, we're finishing up all the necessary stuff for bass for the One Up by Land record. And then I have a golf outing with Jake from the lake. Not you, Jake, but another Jake. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And
dude, you might get rained out.
I think
we're actually probably not going to golf today because it's supposed to storm all afternoon.
Oh, really? That would actually be a welcome situation. Then I could just kind of lay around, you know what I mean, and just kind of do my thing. Take it easy because I've been fucking running hard last couple days. But yeah. So here we are. I've been doing a little bit of gaming in between all of that this weekend. PlayStation has a really nice sale going on right now. They got a section called the Games Under $15. If you follow us on Twitter, I comb through the games that were under $15 and just threw out a quick, hey, these ones have, well, I said our seal of approval, but they're essentially mine. So some of the games under $15 right now that I couldn't believe, some I could believe, but Strider's on there, SteamWorld Heist is on there, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain's on there, South Park, The Fractured Butthole, which I haven't played, but you approved that one.
Yep.
The Metro Saga, which is all three of the Metro games.
For $15?
15 or under, yeah.
For all three Metro games.
100%.
That's a steal.
Yeah. Ni no Kuni, the first one on there. I think it's, that game's a really long, it's a good game. Infamous First Light's on there. Outlast, which is a cool horror game. The Castlevania Anniversary Collection, Wolfenstein: The New Order, and Valkyria Chronicles are all under there, and they're all under $15. So if you're looking for a cheap game to play, and you don't want to spend a ton of money right now, and you haven't played any of those, you're pretty much going to be good with any of them, I think. So, anyways, Jake, any opinions on that? You like all those games I said?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much they cost. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't expect to pay $15 for Strider, for example. I mean, it's a good game.
I don't know what it's going for, but
yeah, I mean, if it's under 10 for sure, I mean, that's a good pickup.
I love that game.
But I would say that all three Metro games, if it was the bundle for less than $15, that's a fucking steal.
Yeah, they're calling it the Saga.
You should definitely buy that.
Yeah, the Metro.
Yeah, you should definitely buy that. I couldn't, for whatever reason, at least at the time I was playing it, I couldn't quite get into Exodus, but the first two games I fucking loved. So, yeah.
There were some mixed opinions about Exodus just because of the way that they addressed the traversal. Not so much the in-game traversal, but the way that the story built. Like you're on a train and you're just kind of traveling and making pit stops at different locations. So there's a lot of different locations that you play, but it doesn't. You're not in the metro in this game.
It's like this pseudo open world thing. I think, and that's what bothered me about it, is that just you like go from A to B on the train, and like the train gets stuck, or the train breaks down, or there's a fucking blockade, or whatever, and it's like, okay, now you have to, from this location, run around and do a bunch of shit in this open world area. And then once you solve all these tasks, then you get back on the train and you chug down the tracks a little farther. And it's fine. I mean, there's not really a problem with it, but for whatever reason, I don't know. I think it was just probably the time that I played it. I don't necessarily think it was bad or anything, but it's kind of hard, so that could be part of it.
It is difficult. All those games are kind of difficult, but man, I loved them. Absolutely loved them. Well, let's talk about games that we're playing right now, Jake. Now, I did a weird thing, so I was looking through the sales, and there are always games on there that catch my eye that I never pull the trigger on. And I know I talked a big game about buying the Quarry and playing it. I want to save it for the fall time now at this point. I mean, we're so close, so I'm not going to pick it up. I'm going to wait until fall and see if it goes on sale. I love all the Supermassive games. I have all the Dark Pictures anthology games. But yeah, so I'm going to wait on the Quarry. I've decided till fall. And if I can't get it on sale, whatever. It was on sale for Amazon Prime Days for like $50. I didn't pick it up. You know, I hope to see it on the PSN on sale here shortly. But anyways,
based on what I've heard, it doesn't seem like it's worth a full $70. Yeah. So I will almost certainly wait till it's on sale before I play it.
Yeah, so we'll see. But what I did get, Jake, is I'm playing Crash 4. So those are the listeners who are tuning in now. Our July game for the PlayStation Plus, just regular PlayStation Plus. We pick a game every month. We play through it. We talk about it. The last episode of that month, Crash 4. I've played a little bit of this, and I have some opinions on it. I like it so far. It is what it is. But we'll talk more about that on the last episode this month. But the two games that I purchased, and it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's weird because I had Dragon's Crown on the PlayStation 4, and it played like just absolute shit. It was so choppy, it couldn't handle it. Like, it was just bad. And they came out with Dragon's Crown 4 or Dragon's Crown Pro for the PS5. It might have been the PS3 I had it on. Sorry, I might be misspeaking here. But anyways, it came out, and it was just like, it played like garbage. And I didn't like it. There was a lot of frame rate drops because the action would get crazy, and it just didn't know what to do. So Dragon's Crown Pro was supposed to be like this better running version that you could play on I think the PS4, PS5. Anyways, that game was $4 on the PSN, and it's a through and through, like, it's interesting. So it takes, let me just come out of the gate right now and say that this is a high fantasy game. So all of the tropes with wizards, sorceresses, all that stuff is just baked in. There's a wizard with a beard that reaches his toes, and he's blue, and he's smoking a pipe, and he's blowing smoke rings. All of the female characters, if this bothers you, are hypersexualized for sure. It's just the style of the game. But I will say this game is awesome because for multiple reasons. Number one, you can play it couch co-op with other people, right? Different characters, and you all build your own fantasy character, and you level up. So it's an RPG. There's a leveling system. There's a skill tree for all of your different classes, but where it gets interesting is the combat plays like a beat 'em up. So you go into these dungeons, and it's a beat 'em up style game where you pick up crossbows that have 10 bolts, and you can shoot them, and then like you have magic rings that you can buy, and then it's just like you press the up button and you use a magic ring, it shoots a bolt out from your guy's hand, and they have different weapons that you upgrade, right? So like right now I'm playing a dwarf character, so I play through a couple missions, and I've joined a guild, and they're giving me different quests, and then it says, to beat this quest, you should probably be around level 8, so go take on more missions from the guild, and then you go through, and the cool thing that this game does that's interesting, there's also a little aspect of searching, so like, like in Golden Abyss on the Vita, how something would sparkle, and you'd touch it with your finger, and you'd get a treasure. Like, that's how you would find treasures. So this game's art style is very hand-drawn. It's like animated. It's like watercolor. It's weird. But all of the backdrops, you have a mouse with the right analog stick. And if you see something shimmering during gameplay, you swing your right mouse button over it, and it drops like a gold something. And then you can go pick it up in the game while you're in the beat 'em up mode. So things just come out of the walls and stuff, and like it's really fucking rad. And the cool thing about this game is all of the story is narrated, like in a storybook fashion. And it's like, so he decided that he would go visit the wizard. And then it's like your mission, go visit the wizard in town. You go find the wizard, and it's like, he greets you with an ominous look. And it says, oh. And they have this really cool feature, too, where you find bones. And you pick up, you want to have as many people in your party as possible. And it can be AI controlled, or you can play with other people online. So the cool thing is in order to get more people in your party, Jake, is as you're taking these missions, you find what they call like a pile of bones, and you pick up these bones with the triangle button. And then you return back to town when you beat the mission, and they have a resurrectionist, like kind of like a cathedral where there's a priest, and you have the option to take these dead heroes and have them resurrected, and they can meet you at the inn, and you can recruit them to be part of your squad. So you find like sorceresses, you find wizards, you find warriors, you find thieves, and so it's a really cool feature of the game. And they all join you, and they all have these quips that they talk like while they play and stuff. Dude, it's an awesome game. So it's like an RPG that's a beat 'em up, and it's such a cool intersection of worlds that like I'm loving this game, and the quests are very quick, and it's fun. It's really fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I played Dragon's Crown a little bit. I never played it on console, so I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that it didn't run well on console, because if I remember correctly, it ran totally fine on Vita. So it's weird that it would run like shit on console,
it was
but
PS3,
not on
Vita.
Vita.
The more I think about it, but it was garbage.
But I do remember really liking it. I don't know why I fell off on it, but I never ended up beating it. But I remember it being really neat. I think I was just, whenever I was playing it, I was at a time where like I wanted to play like the combat of it, but I didn't want to fuck with all of the RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to deal with like leveling my character and all this stuff. I think it was just a mode I was in at the time. Mm-hmm. But I do remember like a couple things about the game. I remember the bone thing where you could like use it to... It's essentially like finding mercenaries to work with you.
Yeah, but you find their dead bodies and bring them back to life.
And that's like a really cool theme for a pretty common gameplay mechanic. But I remember just the art style being really cool. And
it is, yeah.
I don't know, the game in general is just awesome. People, I know like nowadays people get like huffy and puffy about, some of the character designs and stuff like that. It's easy to forget because it's high fantasy, but this is a very Japanese game as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really neat. I haven't played it in years, but I remember really liking it.
Yeah. I mean, all the characters are beautiful. I mean, the men are ripped and they're like super strong, and the dwarves are badass, and the women are like super sexy, and like, it's just like, wow, everybody looks like they're a model in this game. But the art style is really cool, and it's just such a neat game, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one because it's an older game, but man, it was like $4, and I had my eye on Pro for a while, Dragon's Crown Pro, and I was like, man, I think this game, because I love beat 'em up games. I love them. They're so fun for me, and it plays like that. And anyways, so yeah, some of the skill unlocks you get and stuff are really interesting. Like for the dwarf, he can do like this axe throw. And then when he does the axe throw, he has to fight with his hands. So one of his skills that you can keep leveling up is that he does extra damage with his hands. So like if he throws, I don't know what it's called, like Fist of Fury or something. I don't know. But, and you can only pick the axe up after it times out. So it gets stuck in the ground after you throw it. And then it has a timer on it. And then you can grab it after so long. But speaking of beat 'em ups, I purchased another game for $10, and this game came out on Switch. It came out on Switch, and it was like really, really beloved, and it came out right around the time the Streets of Rage 4 was released. And this game's called The Takeover. The Takeover is a nod. It's a love letter to Streets of Rage, I think. Some of the character movesets, all that stuff is pretty much the same. The story is all right. I think some of the in-between voiceover work could be better in between levels. I got to the last level, and like one of the tropiest things that happen in these games is when you finally get to the last level, you are approached by every boss you've already beaten the entire game. Like they just show up at the end. And it's like, I can't get past it single player. I just can't do it. I put the difficulty on normal. I can't get past it. And I love the game. The levels are long. Like the first level is like 20 minutes or 25 minutes long, which is crazy for a beat 'em up. But it's a good game. The graphic style may not grab everybody, but it looks way better in motion. So if you're seeing like screen grabs of it and stuff, yeah, it looks a little weird, but it's good. It plays well. It looks good. Graphics are good live, like in motion, and I don't have any issue with this game. And they kind of elaborate a little bit on some of the moves. Like in this game, you can have a gun, and what you do is you pick up bullets. So you save your gun for like some of the more tough guys, and you hold the R2 trigger down right now, and my guy pulls out like a handgun, and then just the regular attack button will shoot it off, which is kind of a neat idea. And it's not as simple, and it doesn't kill people with one shot. So it's balanced because, on a beat 'em up, you have to make sure you're on the same level plane that the bad guys are on. So oftentimes I'll find myself aiming at one, shooting, and the bullet will just go right past him. Like, oh crap, I got to scooch down a little bit to hit this guy. So yeah, I mean, it's like they give you 10 bullets, 20 bullets, 25 bullets, whatever. But you can't be a wrecking crew with a gun in the game. But it's just nice to offer a ranged combat in a beat 'em up, and it's pretty cool. It's called The Takeover. Jake, what are you playing?
So I beat Mass Effect, so I'm done with that. So we can basically do the spoiler cast whenever. But after I beat Mass Effect, what did I play? I've been playing Crash 4. So obviously we're going to talk about Crash 4 at the end of the month. And the only thing that I will say is that I had heard that this game is hard, but pretty fucking hard. Like, I don't know if you've tried to do I'm only like, I don't know, a couple hours into it. I've probably played maybe 10 stages. Like maybe not quite that many, maybe 8 stages. But the platforming is just really challenging. But I am glad that it's not. And I never played the original Crash game, so I'm not really sure what the difficulty was like and what the leveling was like. But my only experience with the original Crash games was doing that shit where you're like running towards the camera. And I just hate that perspective.
I hate it in Uncharted also.
Well, that's the thing is they like adopted it into Uncharted and stuff where you're like running away from vehicles and you're like running towards the camera. And I know it's like cinematic and stuff for a game like Uncharted, but for a platformer like Crash, it's incredibly frustrating because you can't see what's coming and you can't, it's all reaction time. There's no planning or anything like that. You either have to just know the level or be able to react really well. But this game, thankfully, like, it's mostly side-scrolly, or you're going forward into the camera. You're not you're going forward away from the camera, which is a common, for platformers. I like that Sarah she was watching me play it yesterday, and she made this description, which it sounds very stupid, but she was like, so this is like kind of like 3D Mario. And I was like, well, it's kind of a hard way to describe it because there is 3D Mario, like Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy and all this stuff. But I think what she means is, like, in Mario, you're side-scrolling. You're essentially, I don't want to call it on rails, but you're only moving in 2 dimensions, where you're just moving like side to side. Whereas like Crash, they don't let you just run around and rotate the camera and do whatever you want, even though it's a 3D space. You're basically just running forward and backwards, or side to side, or, in and out. So it is kind of interesting from that perspective to think about it that way. But yeah, I don't know. I've been liking it so far, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
The other game that I've been playing, which is actually really fucking weird and probably not going to appeal to anybody on this podcast, but I've been playing have you ever heard of the game Star Citizen on PC?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't even know what it's about,
it's like a fucking meme because they started making this game like literally over 10 years ago at this point. And it's like the original crowdsourced game. And so like the way that it works is just people fund this game, just like crowdfund it, and then as they're funding it, like they're just building it and they're building it and they're building it. And it's supposed to be it's the new game by the guy that did like Wing Commander and shit back in the day. And what he wanted to do was make this game that's just literally like this insane just universe simulator, this persistent universe where you like get a ship and you can like land on it's like, imagine No Man's Sky but like realistic.
Yeah.
And you can like do all kinds of shit like and like there's like space stations, but all of these places are like habited by humanity. And I don't know, it's really insane. So I pledged to this like I don't know, fucking like 6 years ago or something. And I was like, okay, well, when I first pledged to it, you like get a ship or whatever, and you're just like, okay, I can't really do anything. And then like a year after that, they were like, oh, you can get in your ship and you can like fly around in like this pre alpha thing. Well, I kind of forgot about it for a long time because I was like, I don't know, whatever. I don't fucking care about this game.
Right.
There's like literally nothing for me to play. I was waiting for the single player because they're doing this Squadron 42 single player campaign, which is a first person shooter, and it has like really high profile acting talent in it, like Gillian Anderson and fuck, I can't remember the name of the guy. Anyway, it's got like some big, acting talent in it, so I was really excited for that.
Yeah.
But I just rebuilt my PC, so it's not like this crazy amazing gaming computer, but I put a good enough hardware in it so that I can actually play video games on it now at like a respectable level, because for the longest time video cards were insanely expensive. My cat's walking in front of the camera. Because people were basically using video cards to mine cryptocurrency. So basically, video cards were hyperinflated in price. They were like 4 times, 5 times what they should cost on MSRP.
Right.
So for the longest time, I didn't have a video card in my computer. Well, recently, if you've been paying attention, crypto has fucking tanked. And because crypto is tanked, nobody cares about mining it anymore. So the price of video cards has also severely dropped back to basically MSRP. So I was able to actually buy one and get my computer built up. And then I was like, okay, well, now that my computer's built, what do I want to play? And I was just kind of dicking around. All my Steam games, because I haven't been a PC gamer in a long time, all of my Steam games are super old. So it's like, I kind of want to try something like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck it. I'll see what Star Citizen's been up to. And it's like legit this full fucking universe now. You can like fly around and hyper jump and land on planets and run around and get killed, and I don't know. And it's like, it's kind of like, I was thinking about what I think I might do, because it's just kind of a lot to talk about just as far as the podcast goes. But I was thinking about maybe just doing a little bit of a video about it or something for the YouTube channel, just to kind of talk about my experience just exploring this game that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
In case people are interested in, because I don't want to bore anyone on the podcast. But yeah, if you imagine, like, basically what it boils down to is, imagine like No Man's Sky, but instead of a bunch of aliens and shit, it's like people, and everything is like hyper realistic graphics, and you mix it with like Escape from Tarkov, which I know you've never played that game either, but it's like your character, everything's super realistic. Like when you equip a gun on your character, you can like change out the type of sight that's on it, and you can change out like the muzzle loader and the muzzle that's on it, and you have to like attach magazines to your armor so that you have enough that you can reload when you're playing the game, and like it's pretty gnarly. So anyway, that's basically what I've been doing.
Well, cool, man.
I also downloaded. I completely forgot. Actually, most of the week I've been playing Ride 4.
Oh, really?
Because I don't know why I completely forgot about this. Because I finished Mass Effect, I upped my PS Plus tier to the extra tier.
Okay.
And that's one of the games that's on there, and I've always wanted to try because the listeners might remember that a while back we were talking about the PS5 trailer for Ride 4 and how awesome it looked.
It was trending
like, realistic
for a while,
it looked and everything. It was trending on Twitter and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I'll play it because I really liked the MotoGP games. But so I will say this about it. It kind of disappoints me, to be completely honest. Yeah. It's basically, so there's one company in the entire world that makes motorcycle video games. And that company is, oh my god, I'm blanking on it now. Ride 4, I'm Googling it, starts with an M, Milestone. They're an Italian game company, and like literally one of the only things that they do is make motorcycle video games. They make the MotoGP game, they make Ride 4, they make the World Superbike game, they make the MXGP games, which is like the GP version of motocross. They make the Monster Supercross game. So MotoGP, that game is like you're literally doing the MotoGP game. You're like, you have a character that is, straight into MotoGP. You do all of the racing, everything that's involved with it, all the bike setup, all the crazy shit, and then you go out and you do the races in the same way that you would do it if you've ever watched the circuit, where it's like you've got practice days, then qualifying days, and then you've got race day and all this stuff. And in between there, you got to do all this shit like adjust your bike and do all this crap.
Right.
Ride 4 is similar in that, the way that the racing and the physics and everything work is very similar to MotoGP, which makes sense because it's the same developer. A lot of it's probably reused, but it's all like, street bikes, and you get to do like random tracks all over the world, and you can make like a career mode where you do like, you're racing different, you could do like the hooligan mode, for example, like in Moto America, which is racing like fucking Harleys and shit. Yeah. And like you can do like street races and things like that, and you can buy motorcycles and upgrade them. And the cool thing about Ride 4 is that like, I can go in this game and I can buy the motorcycle that I actually own, and I can like jazz it up, and I can use that motorcycle when I want to run races. And that's really cool. The one thing that's a bummer to me about it though is that there's no like, what I want is like a road to the show kind of thing.
Oh, right.
Where like I want to be able to like start out as a nobody and pick like a little street bike and be able to get like my race license, and then run like some local fucking race events and shit like that, and then circuits, get into the American professional leagues, and then once you get good you can kind of upgrade to getting into like the the World Superbike and stuff like that. But they don't have anything like that. It's like, okay, well, I want to do the little bikes first. I want to do like the 300cc bikes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, you started a character, you make them, and you start your career, and you get your race license, which is okay, fine, whatever. Although like to get your race license, they make you do like 5 events, and they're all just completely random motorcycles, completely random tracks. So you don't have the ability to like learn anything. It's just like, how good are you at doing this one task on this one track, which is I didn't really care for that either. But then it's like, okay, now I'm going to do the 300cc series, and it's like 3 fucking races. There's no like, practice. There's no qualifying. There's no like.
It's more arcadey, maybe.
Yeah, it's just literally like, okay, you did 3 races and now you get so many points. Now you unlock the fucking super sport class. And it's like, okay, there's 4 races in that and you get so many points based on how you finish. Now you unlock the heritage series. And it's like that sucks. Like, I want there to be like a whole season where I'm like racing in this class and like my character is getting better and like,
dude, Road
they
to
don't
the
have any
like
of that stuff.
It's crazy. It's just like,
well, that's
play
what
an entire
that's what I mean.
300 games of baseball.
Yeah.
Get an average, go play 300 more games. It's just like, it's fucking gnarly. Like, it's just like,
and you can like simulate and do all kinds of stuff, which is nice. Like, I wish they had something like that here. And they do have something similar in the MotoGP game, but it's like way more targeted. It's like you're in this one series. Well, I mean, it's 3 series within like the world tier, which is Moto3, Moto2, and MotoGP. But it's like you don't have the ability to start as like a kid learning on his local fucking track and then like basically accelerating to the highest tier in racing.
Right.
Whereas like, so I'm a little bit disappointed by that. But I will say to anyone who's interested in this, dude, these games, Ride and also MotoGP, they are fucking hard. They are so hard. They're way harder, in my opinion. It's been a long time since I've played Gran Turismo or a sim racer on the 4-wheeled side, but they are way harder than like Gran Turismo and shit like that, because in those games you don't have to worry about the physics of lean angle and braking and all this shit. Like, worst case scenario, you brake too late and you go run off the track. Mm-hmm. Where like in this game, if you brake too late and then you try to lean in, you just fucking wreck because like you lose traction. So like it's really, really crazy. But I do think that if you're a motorcycle fan, like, they're worth checking out. But like I said, I am just kind of bummed about like the career mode in the game.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you finally got a chance to play it. Thanks for sharing that with us, because we did talk about it on an earlier show about our interest in it. Let's move on to news, Jake. This is interesting. So you said you've bought up. I haven't bought up yet, but PlayStation Plus rather Extra. There's been a lot of additions here recently, and by the end of 2022, there's going to be a total of over 50 Ubisoft games on the Extra.
Oh wow!
So I'll talk about these games. So the latest additions were Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
To be clear, these are not all Ubisoft games.
No, these are not. No, these are the newest additions. So we have Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, Assassin's Creed the Ezio Collection, Assassin's Creed Unity. We're getting the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, whatever. And then Ice Age, Scrat's Nutty Adventure, Jumanji the video game, Marvel's Avengers, Paw Patrol on a Roll, Ready Set Heroes, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition, and Stray, which is a newly released title. I was going to say that there's a lot of contention now about PlayStation Plus Extra and PlayStation Plus, what's the next one? Deluxe? Is it Deluxe?
Premium,
thank you, yeah. That maybe, perhaps, PlayStation Plus Extra is like over-delivering, and Premium is under-delivering.
So I will say that there are some games that they're locking out to the premium tier that I'm kind of surprised by. One of them, and I don't know if in what capacity this is, but one of them seems to be Cyberpunk 2077. But here's the thing: is I can't tell based on the PlayStation Store if it's got a premium tag because it's giving you a free trial for it, or if it's got a premium tag because the game is free with your premium membership.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to tell there. And if it's got a premium tag because there's a free trial, that's kind of stupid because there's already a 5-hour free trial for Cyberpunk on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that'd be something to research.
So I'm not really sure about that. As far as this list goes, I'm actually really stoked about... I need to look into the Remake Intergrade inclusion to see if it includes the Yuffie DLC. And if it does, I'm definitely interested in downloading that and seeing if I can import my save to it. And I want to try that DLC out. The other thing, obviously, that we've talked about is Stray, which comes out on Tuesday. I'm excited to play that. That's probably going to be the next game that I jump into, to be honest.
Yeah. And next news point. Speaking of Stray, Jake, this is pretty cool. So Annapurna is a developer. They partnered with several humane societies to help stray cats, actually. And what they're doing is they've tweeted out a link, and you can donate $5 currently to the Nebraska Humane Society. And then you get entered to win a download code for Stray. I guess if you're a PS Plus Extra person, there's really no incentive there because you're going to be getting the game for free. But the incentive would be that you're helping out cats. So I really like this. I think it's really nice, when real world, like good causes, good deeds, whatever, intersect with gaming. If you guys remember, PlayStation did the Play and Plant initiative for Horizon Forbidden West. And, I think for up to so many people that got the blah, blah, blah trophy into the whatever, forget what it was called. What's it?
It was like into the
Mire.
Gaunt or something like that.
Yeah, into the Gaunt. I think that's what it is. Yeah. They were going to plant a tree. So I like this stuff a lot. It's nice to see Sony and Annapurna is, are they owned by Sony or no?
No,
I didn't think so.
I believe they're independent.
So this is an independent game decision, but I like it in general when gaming companies, video game stuff, find a way to positively affect our world. So very cool. So I donated $5, and I'll keep you guys posted if I get a free download code. I kind of just did it because I wanted to support the idea behind it, maybe more.
Yeah, it's cool.
If they get good numbers on this, maybe more companies will kind of partner up with things that, I don't know, whatever. Hey, Ghost of Tsushima is a smash hit, Jake. We've known this, but to drive the point home, it is now almost sold 10 million copies on PS4 and PS5. So there's no doubt this is what Sucker Punch is working on right now, the new one. And the more I think about it, this game kind of did take a lot of people by surprise. People were like, oh yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, this looks awesome. And then they had the state of play, and it looked a little bit better. You're like, oh, this looks kind of cool. But then it was like, it looks a little Assassin's Creed-y, a little, But then, the game came out, and everybody was like, holy shit, this game's really fucking cool. So, yeah, I'm glad that they hit a home run with it. I kind of forgot about it, and then they released that additional DLC. It was free, the online portion of it, which was really fun. If you've never played that was really cool. So I'm
I've heard that that's really good. I haven't played it mostly because I just don't play games online, but I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. I thought it was a great surprise new IP, just like when Horizon came out, and that was a great surprise.
Yeah.
It's a little less surprising coming from Sucker Punch because we knew they had it in them with Infamous, but this game was really cool. I love the aesthetic of the game. I don't know how much I actually care about Jin Sakai as a protagonist, but I liked all of the characters that you met in the world and the overarching story and all the side quests that you did and how you were affecting the people on the island of Tsushima. And I'll be curious to see what they do with the next game to make it not essentially
the same thing,
a derivation of the first one. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they come up with, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if they mix it up a little bit. Maybe Jin Sakai is not the main player. You might have a female protagonist now. They'll do something to mix it up for sure. We'll see. So moving forward, Jake, there's a game, and believe it or not, it apparently released this week on Steam for VR. It's getting a ton of attention, And the game's called Kayak Mirage VR. And it's a kayaking simulator. And there's some online racing that you can do with the kayak also. But the graphics look fantastic. And this is actually really a smart idea for VR if you think about it. The developer is Better Than Life. And they announced recently that they are working on a PSVR 2 version of this game. It just looks awesome. So reviews on Steam stem all the way from, instead of saying this game was made for VR, they're saying VR was made for this game. All the way up to people saying this is the Microsoft Flight Sim for VR, but for kayaking. People are going nuts saying the illusion of kayaking in this is incredible. Someone even said, like, this is the best graphics they've ever seen in any game, VR or not. So I don't even understand that statement. So maybe the water effects are amazing, but it looks awesome. Like, I think it would be really, really fun to play a game like this in VR, using the rowing and stuff, and just going around and looking around at different sites. And like, if they give you little goals, like, I don't know what they give you. You know, it just seems really awesome. I'm actually excited about a kayaking game. I have kayaks. We have kayaks. We don't go out as much as we should, but this looks awesome. It looks tranquil also. So I don't know. Opinions?
Yeah, it looks great. I'm looking at it now.
It's blowing up on Steam. People are just going ape shit about this game. The VR players on Steam.
I mean, the graphics are pretty incredible, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really weird. So I like that. It's almost like this studio was created to make this game. Like, the title of the studio is Better Than Life, so they must be like a VR developer. You know what I mean? They gotta be like, with the title like Better Than Life, like, this is better than the real thing. You know, here you can do things in your life that you can't really do. We'll give you the headset and you can. Like, it's weird. I've never heard of the studio before, but they've tapped into something with this game. So it's apparently being there's going to be a VR 2 version for PlayStation. It's on my radar. That's all I'm saying.
I like that there's no. When they're like racing each other, there's no people, there's no bodies in the kayaks. It's literally just a kayak and then like a floating hat and then a fucking paddle just whipping around on either side of the kayak. They couldn't
put the fake body in there.
I mean, maybe that's how they make it look so good, is that they're not dealing with those physical animations, but it looks great. Like, I wish that they would make something like this, though, where I can just fucking walk around and I don't have to sit in a goddamn kayak.
Walk, yeah.
It seems like it would be. It seems like it would be annoying to have to like wave my arms back and forth to like get around this world.
Maybe, but it might feel good though.
It might. We'll have to see. It's got to have a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't even think about the soundtrack.
But it looks great.
I hope there's no soundtrack. I hope it's just like birds and like the water gurgling and stuff and the sound of the paddles. I just hope it's like super relaxing like that. Maybe Hopefully. With an optional soundtrack that sounds like, I don't know, old course selection soundtrack for like a golf game, like this jazz shit. I don't know. But anyways, let's move on. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Sony and Bungie now, Jake, are finally joined in marriage. The deal went through, so welcome, Bungie, to the family. That's interesting. So this actually went through. I thought it was under review and stuff for a while, wasn't it? Wasn't this one of the agreements?
I mean, yeah, they were like, hey, we just got to check this real quick. I mean, it wasn't nothing like the Activision Microsoft deal where they're like, you know, they got a freaking microscope on everything just because that deal is so huge. But comparatively, the Bungie acquisition is pretty small.
Yeah, so that's cool.
So I don't know that they really care.
It's official. It happened. It wasn't official until just now. So that's interesting. And I think that Bungie's going to be working in conjunction with PlayStation to do some like live service game stuff. You know, they're doing Destiny right now, obviously, but maybe they're cooking up something new. I don't know. But, yeah, we'll see.
I know they are working on... I think they were working on some, like... Talking about, like, maybe some third-person, like, competitive shooter or something.
Weird.
I thought I saw. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. And then a well-respected and accomplished writer for Naughty Dog announced via Twitter that he is leaving the developer for an unknown destination. Josh Scher was involved with Uncharted 4, Last of Us 2, and probably many other games. He had been working at Naughty Dog for 21 years. He did indicate, though this is the news point here, that nobody is ready for what Naughty Dog has in store for us. So I don't know if that's just fluff, him just saying, hey, we left on good terms, I'm going to give my boys a shout out, my coworkers a shout out. Or like there's been a lot of like little nuggets like, oh shit, Druckmann's like, I can't wait, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I believe it coming from someone from Naughty Dog, but this sounds like just that PR shit that like you hear all the time when a game's coming out. Yeah. It's just like, you guys aren't ready for what we're gonna give you. It's like fucking battle royale.
The world's
it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
we're gonna break the internet.
I mean, it's a bummer that he's leaving, but I mean, I'm assuming that I don't think that it shouldn't probably affect. Naughty Dog knows how to develop talent. This guy, I was looking at his Moby Games page. He started doing like, art and shit way back in the day.
Yeah.
He, like developed into a writer. He wasn't always a writer at Naughty Dog. So I wouldn't be surprised if Naughty Dog has been grooming guys to even come up and fill his place.
Oh, for sure.
Or maybe this guy himself has even been grooming his own, whatever you want to call it, replacement.
Yeah.
So, but good luck to him. Hopefully we'll find some place neat to work. Maybe he'll go work at Bungie.
Yeah.
And then he'll stay within the family or something.
There you go. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I always like it when somebody leaves a studio on a good note and gives a shout out to their coworkers. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to this place. I can't talk about it, but you guys ain't even ready for what Naughty Dog's about to throw down. And I'm just like, man, it kind of gets me excited because it's not a straight up PR stunt, but it's like kind of underhanded where you're just like, maybe he's like being legit, or maybe this is a little bit of lip
Unless
service.
They're like, oh, you guys aren't even ready, and it's like a fucking match 3 game or something.
It's like, no, Naughty Dog's not ready. Apparently, the game's not coming out for a couple more years. So you
have
guys
no
aren't
idea
ready.
what you're.
No,
you have no idea what you guys are getting. It's a licensed My Little Pony game.
Yeah, that's so good. It's called The Last of the Bronies. All right. So where were we? Oh, so I just have a link to this next one. This is actually big news, and I just kind of put it down here later on the thing. But so Sony announced a loyalty program, and Jake, the loyalty program is called PlayStation Stars, which is interesting. And this was on the PlayStation blog, and they have since made it very clear that the image, it is completely not an NFT thing. And people are like, oh shit, Sony went NFT. It's like, no, fuck that. They shot that down very fast. It's not what this is. I'm just gonna.
The thing that pisses me off about that is that like, this is just people reacting on the internet, because if they actually read the fucking blog article, why would you think it's an NFT program?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why people just immediately
because you're getting avatars,
oh.
right? You're getting avatars, like little logos and stuff. But whatever. So real quick, what it is. So on the PlayStation blog, I'll comb through it real quick. They're just saying, the company's 27-year history. They've been moved by how meaningful the gaming experiences can create fond, lifelong memories for players. And then they say they take joy in creating these unique products and experiences to delight their fans. They're revealing this PlayStation Stars, which is a brand new loyalty program that celebrates you, the player, for being on this ever-growing gaming journey with them. And they say it's going to be free to join when it launches. It hasn't launched yet. It's going to launch later this year. And once you're a member, you can earn rewards by completing a variety of campaigns and activities. They're going to have a monthly check-in campaign that requires you to play any game to receive a reward. Other campaigns are going to be a little more in-depth, possibly tournaments. Specific trophies need to be unlocked. You can be the first player to platinum a blockbuster title in your local time zone, which is fucking nuts. Could you imagine like winning that one? It would be kind of cool, like a badge of honor.
It would be dope if they're like, oh, this person was the first person in the Eastern time zone to platinum God of War Ragnarok. So they give him like $500 in PSN cash or something.
Yeah, but you're just gonna get
like that would be sick. I mean, it's cool.
I don't know what you're gonna get, but they do say that you'll have opportunities to earn loyalty points, and then points can be redeemed in like a catalog, probably a digital catalog that can include wallet funds, right? So points can equate to wallet funds. This is a bit of a redirect from the Sony rewards program. So I was getting points for the Sony rewards program for earning trophies and then cashing them in for digital wallet funds. So it's kind of like that, but now it's almost just going to be spearheaded by PlayStation, like this section of it, which I think is a good idea. So you can get wallet funds. In addition, as an additional benefit, PlayStation Plus members enrolled in PlayStation Stars automatically earn points for purchases on the store. Again, it's very much like the Sony rewards program, and as part of Stars, they're going to unveil a new type of reward called digital collectibles, and this is the thing that got everybody all fucking fired up. And it said collectibles are as diverse as our portfolio of products and franchises, digital representations of things that PlayStation fans enjoy, including figurines of beloved and iconic characters from games, other forms of entertainment, as well as cherished devices that tap into Sony's history of innovation. There will always be a new collectible to earn, an ultra-rare collectible to strive for, or something surprising to collect just for fun. And Sony,
I think maybe probably what hangs people up is the idea of like an ultra rare collectible.
Yeah.
And probably what they mean by that is that collectible is just really hard to earn.
Right. It's not like you can only get so many of them.
Yeah. So like, they're not going to say like, now they may, when the other avenue, I guess you could say, is that maybe they're like, oh, you have to complete this task within the window of like July 2023 or something, and then if you do that, you get this collectible that's like, but there's an unlimited number of them in that month. It's not like there's some limited number. I could be wrong about that, but it doesn't seem like that's the way that they're going with this.
Yeah, I like the idea. It seems like
it's basically like, yeah, it's like if you can do the tasks, if you can do the requirements, you get the items.
You get the thing.
Just straight up. And it's like, anybody can get them. It's like, oh, you got the fucking, the chibi
thing,
cloud avatar. And it's like, oh, well, you got the, I don't know, beheaded Kratos avatar. It's like, okay, well,
seems like it's
cool,
just another way to have a badge of honor and then to like some brand loyalty and have people get
to me it just seems like an extension of trophies is all,
and the rewards program a little bit, right?
Yeah, they're kind of just basically just throwing you digital swag for completing tasks and kind of getting you, incentivizing you to participate in the PlayStation ecosystem, which is cool.
Yeah, I like it. So that happened. It's not out yet, but keep an eye out for that. It'll be releasing later this year. And this next one is a weird news point, and it kind of came out of nowhere. We've been talking about the new Skate game, Jake. We've been calling it Skate 8, Skate 7, Skate 5, Skate 4, whatever we thought we were going to be calling it. So the developer came out. This is an EA game. But the new Skate game is going to be a free-to-play title. It's going to be a sandbox kind of Skate game. It's not even going to be called Skate 4. It's just going to be called Skate. They said it's not going to be an iterative title moving forward. The developer indicates it's going to be a regular Skate game. And because of the free-to-play and sandbox nature of this game, which makes complete sense coming from like a little bit of skateboard background. Like, dude, we used to build our own fucking ramps and shit all the time and like just set up areas to skate on, right? So there's going to be like a shared area for the online people. They can just go shred together, go skate, jam together, and then like, I'm guessing that you can set up your own challenges in this online world and see if other people can beat them, set up a mini skate park somewhere. Like, it just seems awesome, actually. The fact that it's free to play is a little, I don't know, like how much are we going to get, right? From the get-go, and how much are we going to have to buy into later? If this is games as a service, what are you going to be paying for on the back end?
Well, they did say that it would not be pay to win. And they're not going to lock areas of the map unless you pay, stuff like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if they have like expansions. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like, but if it's free to play, they said you're not going to have to do that. I don't know. To me, it just seems like maybe you might have to pay for, you want like this gnarly type of ramp.
Yeah.
Or like you want this gnarly board design, or you want the wheels that are on fire, or you want the fucking character that, you know, I don't know.
Or you want
looks
Janko
like Master
jeans.
Chief or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or wallet jeans.
You want Janko jeans. I think that this is cool. I think that this is cool. I think that this has the potential to be a really neat streaming game. Like people building, it's like in Grand Theft Auto Online. People mod it and they make these crazy fucking like maps where people are trying to drive cars through all these like Hot Wheels ramps and shit like that.
Yeah.
And to me, seems like they could do something similar with this game, where people make like these crazy skate parks or like crazy challenges, and streamers try to do them and stuff like that. I don't know. It seems to me like it could be pretty cool. I personally don't want to play in a skate game with other people, but as long as the game itself can be played alone and it plays just like any other skate game, I'm still interested in checking it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if it's free to play. Why the hell not?
I think it's a pretty cool move. You know, if you think about it, what's kind of neat about it is skateboarding was never meant to. It wasn't the vehicle for skateboarding. The motivation was never money. It was never like, let's fucking rake in money, skaters and skateboards, right? It became very popular, and then, you know, these different, you know, games started coming out, and then, you know, sponsorships, and the skaters, you know, look, your cat's totally loving the camera. That's funny. But what I like about it is it feels like it's going back to the roots of what skateboarding's about. It's about community. It's about challenging yourself. It's about, you know, getting out there with a board and just cranking out some tricks and trying to get good at something. And there shouldn't be a barrier of entry to it, you know, just like in regular skateboarding. You know what I mean? You don't need the best deck. You don't need, you know, I think my first board was given to me by some local skater kid. He's like, yeah, this shit, I just got a new board. Here you go. And it's like, oh, cool. Now I can do all kinds of shit with this. So it's kind of nice.
Do you remember when there used to be that skate shop in Meadville?
Yeah. Image Skates. My buddy.
Image Skates.
Dude, yeah. Like we worked so hard to get that skate park open too in Meadville. Like I remember like, yeah. Me and my friends, we would always do shows to like raise money for it, and like I remember like that family who ran Image Skates were always going to like council meetings, city council meetings. That's just lobbying to have that fucking skate park made for us kids, and it was really cool, and it's still down there. I mean, it's kind of a death trap now. It hasn't been cared for, but it's still cool as shit. I still see kids down there skating on it once in a while when I run, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, so anyway, Supermassive Games, Jake, the folks behind The Quarry and the Dark Pictures Anthology, and the other one I can never remember the name of, the one Until Dawn, were recently acquired by Nordisk Games. And this is kind of weird because I always kind of assumed that Supermassive was going to get scooped up by Sony. I just thought that it something that might be something that was going to happen. So on a Push Square article, they indicate that so the publisher took out 30.7% stake in the company last year, but upped it now to a full 100%. They indicate that this is being done to increase our support to the team and, most importantly, continue the great working relationship they have with them. So it's interesting. I guess Just Cause, the developer Avalanche Studios, and Mercury Steam, who are behind the Lord of Shadow game, the Castlevania game, are also in the Nordisk Games environment. So they're all in that ecosystem. There's been no price on the buyout at this point, but the dude from Supermassive came out with a quote, and this is what he said, and then we'll talk about it. He said, having had such a positive experience over the past year, it wasn't a difficult decision when Nordisk Games wanted to explore increasing their investment. We have an exciting and ambitious growth strategy for Supermassive Games, and Nordisk Games ownership only enhances that. And then the CEO from Nordisk indicated that in acquiring 100% of the studio, they're going to be able to increase their support for the team, most importantly, continue the great working relationship we have with them, like I said earlier. So, interesting. I would have liked to have seen the acquisition made by Sony, honestly, but I don't know that their games I don't know. Like, I've read mixed reviews now on The Quarry, and I've enjoyed my time with the Dark Pictures anthologies, and they are doing one-of-a-kind things.
So I can understand why Sony didn't purchase them, because Until Dawn, Sony published that game, and it took fucking ever for them to make that game.
Yeah.
Which was probably a little bit of, even though it was great, which was probably a little bit of a black mark for Sony. And then everything that they've made since then has had middling critical reception. There's none of the I'm not saying that you didn't like it, but critically speaking, the Dark Pictures stuff has been kind of like, people have been kind of lukewarm on it, and then the Quarry stuff seems like the Quarry the game. It seems like people like it, but it's a little bit thin for the price tag that they have on the game. So I can understand why Sony wouldn't want to necessarily bring a project like that into their stable, but I don't know. I mean, I was looking up Nordisk games a little bit, and it looks like they have some other, mobile developers and stuff like that. The big ones are Avalanche and Mercury Steam. So we'll just have to see. I mean, maybe with the resources of being owned by somebody, they'll have the ability to kind of tighten up their development cycle a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
I think the interesting thing about this, and I think that a lot of people might be missing it a little bit, and I think Supermassive Games is a victim of the second album situation, right? So when you're a musician, you release your first record, and it's like, oh man, this is so fresh and awesome. Everyone's in. And then you release your second album, and it's arguably just as good as that first record, but it's not enough to like keep people in, because it's just like more of what they've already gotten a taste of, and they've kind of moved past it. I think this is what's happening with Supermassive, because I think if we were to go back and replay Until Dawn, I think we would find that The Quarry is as good, if not better. I haven't played The Quarry, but I think the appeal of Until Dawn was the branching decisions and all the shit they've been doing with all the Man of Medan stuff or the Dark Picture stuff. I don't think that they are doing anything that much different than the first game, and I think that's where their problem is. I don't think that these games are bad.
My understanding is that the reason is not that people don't have a problem with the games, it's that they don't like the stories as much.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah. So it's in a game like this, that's like the meat and potatoes of the whole experience. I mean, who cares what button you press to fucking, make this decision or that decision? Until Dawn was an incredibly streamable game, which I think
helped it.
That helped it out a lot. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played anything past Until Dawn, so I have no idea.
I would say like the technical quality, the graphics and everything of everything, they're all as good as Until Dawn in the gameplay, and I think they've even refined some areas too. So it's interesting that they're kind of getting crapped on, but they kind of, I don't want to say they invented this, they're not getting crapped on either. I should take that back. I think people still like them and like their games, but I feel like it's tough to critique something when you already have it in your head what you want out of it, right? So I don't know. Like I would argue if The Quarry came out and it was their first game, people would be fucking going apeshit over it, because like, oh, who's this studio? Oh, this game's amazing. Oh, this game's awesome. That would be the impression. But because they've released all this other stuff before it, it's just like, okay, yeah, it's like a choose your own thing, choose your own adventure kind of situation. The story's not as good as Until Dawn, so it's not as good, And it's like, I don't know, but yeah, I think that maybe you're right. Maybe they just need to get some different writers on board or do something a little more creative. I'd like to see them venture into something a little different. Like, what if you did a game, like all their games have been based in real life with some weird supernatural shit happening. What if it was completely different? Like, what if it was based in a different time period? Like, what if it was based in like medieval days and they had a game for choose your own, like I say choose your own adventure, but you know what I mean? Like a game that had a story based back in like, I don't know, the 1700s or something. It'd be kind of weird, 1600s. Well, if they did like a Civil War game like this.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly be
interesting.
Cool. I'm trying to find what the Metacritic score was for The Quarry, but I can't fucking find it anywhere.
That's weird. Well, you keep looking. I'll talk about.
Is it not called Quarry? Quarry?
The Quarry.
Well, I understand that, but
Jake, you gotta put the in front of it, man.
The Quarry. Okay, so I was just looking something. I was just doing a little bit of research. Basically, now let me just look up Until Dawn. All right, so the thing is that like they're not really that far out of pocket with their new games. Until Dawn has a Metacritic score of 79.
Mm-hmm.
And all of their games since then have been between 70 and 75 on Metacritic. Metacritic, not a perfect metric, but it's what I have to go on. So I don't think they're that far out of pocket with these newer games. I think that the problem is it's a little bit like you're saying, where it's like, I think it's a little bit of the sophomore album syndrome, where people were like blown away by the first game because they were like, oh, this is crazy, and they can do all the streaming content and all this stuff. And then after that, people are like, okay, now I'm past all of the stuff that makes this game popular. Like now, like if it doesn't have a good story, maybe I'm not getting into it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's just weird. Like I think it's the rose-colored glasses thing. I think people look back at Until Dawn and think it was this amazing accomplishment that was like as good as like The Last of Us or something. And it was a good game, and it just took people by surprise. But honestly, I think, you know, all of their games afterwards have been just as fine. You know, the story might not be for everybody and all these little pieces, but they've been doing a good job. So I'm happy to see them get some backing. Happy to see them get in bed with somebody who's gonna help them, like you said, maybe help their development cycle a little bit and but they've put out so many games. If you count those Dark Pictures anthology games, they have 3 of them out now. They did Until Dawn. They did the VR game for Until Dawn, didn't they? Or did they not do that? Someone else did that.
I don't know if they did the Rush of Blood or not.
All right. Well, let's say they didn't. They've released 4 games since. They've released 4 games since Until Dawn, including Until Dawn, and no. They have 5 games, including Until Dawn. They have The Quarry, the 3 Man of Medan games, and the Until Dawn game. And then they're working on. There's another one coming out very soon of the Man of Medan series. So they're gonna have 4 Dark Pictures anthology games, Until Dawn, The Quarry, and they're working on a new one, I guess. So. I mean, these guys, they're churning out games. So I think that maybe you're right. Maybe they just need to take a little bit more time on the story. We'll see. Anyways,
yeah.
Bandai Namco, Jake, confirmed that they have been hacked by a ransomware group. So there was some speculation. A tweet had come out that said ALPHV, which is a ransomware group. They're also referred to as Black Cat Ransomware, claimed to have ransomed Bandai Namco, and they hadn't confirmed it at the time of the tweet, and then they did come out. So they indicate on July 3rd, 2022, Bandai Namco Holdings confirmed that it experienced an unauthorized access by third party to the internal systems of several group companies in Asian regions, excluding Japan. They said in a statement to VCG that after After we confirmed the unauthorized access, we've taken measures such as blocking access to the servers to prevent the damage from spreading. Bandai Namco said that there is also a chance that customer information related to the toys and hobby business in Asian regions, excluding Japan, was included in the servers and PCs, and they are currently identifying the status about existence of leakage, scope of the damage, and investigating the cause. They also offered sincere apologies. They said that they're looking into strengthening its security and taking measures to prevent it from happening again in the future. This comes way of an IGN article. And then they go on to talk about what ransomware is. It's essentially a malware. It encrypts files on a device. They render the files in the systems that rely on them unusable, and then they demand a payment, and then they'll release the files back to the company undamaged. And This happened to Capcom in 2020, I think, and CD Projekt Red. We were joking about that. Also, were a victim of a cyber attack, which we were joking about because they were like the cyberpunk group.
This is becoming a huge issue globally. In the last few weeks, 2 companies that I work with directly have been victims of ransomware attacks and are completely shut down right now.
Yeah.
So it's becoming a thing that more and more and more companies are getting hit with. I don't know that ransomware is as big of an issue on the individual front, but I would highly suggest, having some kind of antivirus or something on your computer if you can, to try and block some of this shit from getting on your machine in case it does happen to you. But yeah, it sucks that people are willing to hold companies hostage like this. I mean, I don't really care so much about corporations, but there are people that work there and their lives are being affected by this.
Right.
So I don't know. It's kind of a dick move to be a hacker, but I don't know. They're criminals. What can you say?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the new games, Jake. July 19th Century, Age of Ashes, Ending, Extinction is Forever, and Stray on the PS5, PS4. July 20th, we're getting Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 on the PS5, PS4, which is interesting. Baldur's Gate is an old school game, and I didn't even know that was coming out, so that's kind of interesting. Dread Out 2 on PS5, PS4, Hazel Sky on PS4, Seduction Amongst Fate, PS5, PS4. What the fuck is that? Huh. I can only imagine. Severed Steel, PS5, PS4. July 21st, we're getting Arcade Archives Chack and Pop on PS4, Bright Memory Infinite on PS5, Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp PS4, Hell Pie on PS5, Post Void on PS5, River City Saga 3 Kingdoms PS4. I was going to look into that game because I like River City Ransom, and I didn't know if this was going to be a beat-em-up game. I doubt it is. Wayward Strand PS5, PS4. July 22nd, Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. So this is kind of cool. We got some free games on the Capcom Arcade recently, and those games, I can't remember what they were. One was Street Fighter, and the other one was 1942, I believe. So they have a second stadium, which integrates into their arcade loader, and then you can get more games through them. So
I can't speak to hardly any of these games other than Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 is fucking awesome, but it's kind of crazy that they're re-releasing the PS2 game nowadays. But it's cool that it's available. The game Post Void, I don't know if you've ever watched anything on it. It looks fucking psycho. Yeah. It's like this super fast-paced first-person shooter that if you don't kill enemies, you die. And so, you have to, keep running around and killing, but it's like a roguelike. So you've got to, keep going and going and going. And if you die, you have to start over. Mm-hmm. But, and it's in this really crazy, pixelated early 90s first-person shooter style.
Yeah.
The colors are really bananas. If you're interested in crazy FPS games, I think you should check out Post Void. It looks really neat.
Okay, very cool. I looked into the River City Saga 3 Kingdoms, and I'm trying to figure out what kind of a game it is. It looks like a beat 'em up, but I don't think it is.
Well, the River City Girls games are beat 'em ups.
Are they?
Maybe so
it is.
I'm guessing that's probably what it is.
I love this old school pixel art that this game has. I really appreciate those faces and those like little stunt like characters. Like they're all like crunched up. Like it reminds me of there was a dodgeball game that was like one of my favorite games on Nintendo. Was it Super Dodgeball? I don't know if you guys have ever played that, but that is probably dude. Super Dodgeball was one of the best dodgeball games in existence ever. Period. That's all there is to it. And the River City Ransom, River City Saga characters kind of look like the faces from the Super Dodgeball game. I remember. So man, for sure. I'm looking at Super Dodgeball right now, and it says the first review on. It's got a 91% likes this game. But the first review says, one of the best multiplayer games to grace the NES, yet no one knows it exists. And while it does have problems, it makes for it with some fast-paced, easy-to-jump-in multiplayer tournaments. If you want to play it but don't have an NES, don't worry, it's available for Switch. So, Super Dodgeball is awesome. Sorry, that's a little bit of a derailment. But that about concludes the podcast, Jake. Do you have anything you want to talk about before we call it quits? I got to get recording here at 11. It's 10:30 right now, so...
Two things that are unrelated to video games. One, apparently there is a Taco Bell in California that is making the Crunchwrap Supreme, but instead of the hard tortilla shell layer in the middle, they're using a giant Cheez-It. So
that sounds amazing.
So if that becomes a national phenomenon, you better believe I'm going to be giving myself fucking heart palpitations.
That sounds amazing.
That bitch. And the other thing was, I don't know if you saw that apparently Pantera is going to tour.
With Phil?
And they're going to, yeah. It's going to be, well, Phil and Rex Brown are the only two surviving members. They're going to have Zach Wilde play guitar and...
who the fuck's gonna drum?
The guy from Anthrax.
Oh wow,
Charlie Benante. So it's like a legit lineup. I'm sure that Vinnie Paul is rolling over in his grave right now because the whole reason why Pantera never reunited was because Vinnie Paul fucking hates Phil Anselmo.
Yeah,
but I think that's cool. I mean, I think it'd be awesome to see Pantera, but I mean, it's only half the band, but it'd be kind of interesting, you know?
Yeah, Phil still has his pipes, and let's hear him belt out some Pantera songs.
Yeah, listen to some Cemetery Gates or some shit.
Yeah, I'm Broken is like one of my favorite Pantera songs.
Yeah.
Broken. Oh, it's so good. Anyways, so let's call it, Jake. Thanks for tuning in to episode 232 of PS This Is Awesome. We do appreciate our listeners, and we hope that we didn't drone on too long about any topic that you were disinterested in, but that's what we do. We talk about what we want to talk about. So I'm glad you listened to us talk about video games for a while. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully we'll hear from you at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Write us. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know if you picked up any games here on the recent sales. Did you buy up to PS Plus Extra or whatever, Premium? And, we'll be back next week like we always are. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, guys and girls. Like Madison, Mass Effect 2, and Metal Hellsinger. P.S. This is awesome.
Awesome.